Just want to thank you all for tuning in, helping put my channel back on the right path after a rocky 2022. Subscribers are up, watch time is up massively, and views are rising, so thank you. I'd also remind everyone that Patreon is linked under every video, so if you'd like to support my family, my work, and vote in what I cover, check it out below.
標的デズモンドの出席する懇親会への参列へ向けて進み始めた。
Probably one of the most to the point and concise recaps I've had the pleasure of seeing. They really nailed it again with the OP this time around, truly capturing the two lives each of them were living, more so in darkness than now in the light, happy with their makeshift family. At the same time, it was incredibly wholesome too, and the song aided that as well. Lovely visuals to top it off, a great OP. Starting off episode 1 with what can only really be described as wholesome content. Even the song matches the mood, chilled and relaxed. Anya being Anya though. This to me was especially lovely since she's now so excited by normal things that she couldn't ever partake in the past. Never thought I'd see a typical Yakuza-styled intimidation scene done in anime, but instead with dogs.
Anya.
I can't believe I called that correctly. That pair of reactions though! It's a small detail, but it's easy to miss, so kudos to them for putting a fair bit of effort into this driving segment, from the city in the background to the weather easily viewed from another angle to reflections and such.
This You gotta love this element to Spy Family, really keeps you on your toes because you're never quite 100% sure that what you're seeing is really what you think you're seeing. Great for plot twists and stuff too.
暗殺の具体的な手段は
犬だ。背後に極右連中か、あるいは第三国のシンパがいる可能性が出てきたな。
My favourite, starting off the season with a mystery, either to be solved fairly quickly or to go on for a while, especially when you consider the third power part of the statement. That's not something they've gone into much yet. Kind of half a city scenery shot win. What a very good boy! Also, I'm not sure how they're going to introduce it, but the dog is voiced by Thors from Vinland Saga, that's the dad from the start for context, and the narrator from this, plus he was recently the Bat Devil from Chainsaw Man, which I've covered in one huge video by the by. As a true lover of animals, this is right up my street. Proud dad to two good boys I am. What an incredibly packed room from an art perspective, and to such a high quality too. Must have taken someone or some people ages to create that. Her kinda internal monologue rarely ever fails to make me laugh. Oh, that's so adorable! It's like love at first sight between them. Interesting that was. I genuinely can't recall if she read the minds of animals in the first half, but I'm going to guess they didn't, or that I at least didn't win it. So take a win for that. I like that. Oh, bless his heart! Pariston from Hunter x Hunter. He's the best boy! This moment just melted my heart. It made me laugh, made me feel sorry for the Bellster. It was well animated with the walking, which is notoriously difficult to do in anime, and made me think there might even be some kind of character growth for him throughout. I liked this moment outside of the obvious because to me it spoke to her change in personality. In the past she'd have gone into her assassin mode and been cool, calm and collected, but here she's still in panic because it's Anya who she now deeply cares for.
プロジェクトアップルオスタニア旧政権下軍事目的で
The full and logical explanation behind Project Apple that ended up bringing in the dog who would end up joining them in the story in a decent way.
なんで情報が漏れた
Unexpected baddie kawaii!
皆さん、アーニャの味方。
The animation on that dog and Anya escaping scene though.
前、未来わかるアーニャと同じ。
Oh, that's a sick twist. And now they've all got abilities of some sort on the team/family. Totally unexpected. Moving multiple characters within one scene.
ワクワク。
She said the thing!
手間が省けたぜ。
振り出しに戻った。
Fantastic piece of comedy writing that was, perfectly set up by her reaction to being back at the start and only made more funny by his very casual, almost genuinely thankful reply. That was absolutely sick and gorgeous looking animation on the attack as well. Goodness me!
アーニャさんに結婚はまだ早いです
That wasn't his intention whatsoever.
じっと君を見逃さないできっと大人はそれらしくするので
Well, it's official for me. Chainsaw Man gets the 2022 Best OP and Spy Family Part 2 gets the Best ED. Again, just like I said in Chainsaw Man, it's a shame I can only offer up a maximum of 2 wins because that song was amazing, and even better was the liquid, smooth animation from start to finish with a whole bunch of wholesome style injected into it. I loved that so much! Okay, that's 2 wins. First of all, it made me laugh about as hard as you'd expect it to. But secondly, that reaction from her. Damn girl, that was amazing looking!
おいこら
もう大丈夫ですってば
I can't just keep laughing and adding scenes, but honestly, it's difficult not to when the comedy is just being nailed so perfectly from the jump.
助けてくれた。
何にせよアーニャさんが無事でよかった
You know what's unique in this one that most others don't do? It's that normally the scene angle changes from character to character in a conversation, one set angle to another. Very rarely do we see the scene move along with the character, more resembling a physical camera following the person speaking, which is really nice.
父いなくなった。
I know when I'm enjoying an anime and my face goes from pretty chilled after recent events having made me laugh to very worried at this. It's like I physically felt it change without thinking about it.
東西の軍事衝突は避けられないものと思われます。
Also credit here to making the future flashes go so far into the future, seemingly days I would presume. I figured at first it'd be a few seconds maybe.
ちょっとアーニャさん
Impressively not running on the spot from not just one angle but 2.
アーニャさ
And then a third time, are you crazy?
お前ら人を殺したことはあるか誰かに殺されたことは
Hey now, she's pretty awesome, isn't she?
骨が砕かれる音を聞いたことはただれる肉の匂いを嗅いだことは恋人の肉片が壁にへばりついているのを見たことは敵の人間性を否定し殺し続け大学では戦争を習わなかったようだな
The anime taking a bit of a darker, more realistic tone right here, pointing out that statements are easily made, but if you've experienced this terrible stuff firsthand, you might not be so willing to inflict it on others. In fact, the scene progressed even further and even darker, and was so well done, I'm dropping 2 wins for that. Excellent looking scenery shot from above and CGI.
俺も同じ気持ちです。戦争はもううんざりだ。
This statement from him just all but confirming that he was in the last large war, likely alongside her, and thus both of them have absolutely no wish to ever see one happen again. I swear it's so rare to see a dog animated so well in an anime. It's the same as horses, they're just hard to animate, but they've done a stellar job.
アーニャ時計読めない。ごめんください。あの時計がゴーンするまであと何分ですか？
時間ごとになるから次まであと30分くらいだね。
あざざます。
Anya being funny with that revelation, then Adorable approaching the nice man to ask the question. She's a great character in this, a huge source of wholesomeness and humor. Love her!
30分って何分？
Okay, for the last time this episode, they did it one more time. Shh, don't tell anyone I gave a win.
さっさとここから離れねえと連中に見つかる。
The dog can talk! I mean, kind of, you know what I mean though. Seriously picked the ideal voice actress for this part. She's absolutely perfect to my mind.
赤い線か青い線選ぶやつやれば止まってた。ガガーン。全部黒い線。
How come she's actually just the best though?
ここに父が来たら入っちゃダメっていう。でもそしたらいろいろバレてアーニャ捨てられちゃうかもしれない。
Always impressed by the fine line that they walk between normal storylines and keeping the secret safe while still being together as a family. Normally you'd think she could stand guard at the door, but if she does that her fake dad will know something is up. And she thinks he won't then want her anymore, so it all balances beautifully together really.
急げ、時間がないぞ。なんだあれ、血文字？
2 wins. Firstly, that was a clever way to relay a message in this situation. Secondly, I liked how they formed up on the stairs. That's how you'd actually do it rather than be bundled together, so it was a quick, nice little touch really.
未来で見た時間。多分爆発しない。
やはりトラップだ。
She managed to save him. Take my grateful win.
おそらく扉を開けると起爆する。
じゃあこれはナスじゃなく爆弾だったのか。
Take a win here for the music too. For me, it fits the time period pretty nicely and kind of reminds me a little of LA Noire, that awesome cop game from years back. Same kind of style.
犬を撹乱するのに大臣の匂いが必要だったのでしょう。
Can't believe I wrote what I wrote during the 13th episode and then already forgot about this. There I was, Tutton, saying what a moron, going off on his home without protection. And then, yeah, felt kind of stupid afterwards.
好都合だ。
Considering that was almost entirely CGI, credit where it's due, that looks bloody great. Following it up with one of the best examples in recent memory of effortlessly combining hand-drawn animation with CGI. Bro, if that isn't CGI, that's straight up the best looking dog animation of all time, right? Out of every joke they've done, that was, for me, hands down the greatest yet. Oh my goodness, I nearly spit out my drink laughing at that reaction to him leaping all over the place.
後で出してやるからおとなしくしててくれ。
Lloyd being an absolute legend and refusing to take out the poor pupster, instead taking the bomb out of the equation by removing it and then chucking it away. Heck, he even gives up his arm to damage instead of taking the dog out. What a guy. She literally kicked a car off the road.
もしもし警察ですか？ 北町公園の裏通りで
Also take a win for the fact that all three of them ended up working together on this one problem with the others actually not knowing about it.
二人ともこんなところで何を
And then, rather poetically, they all end up meeting together like this at the end of the day. Being nice to Project Apple animals is always a win.
この犬さん飼ってくれなきゃアーニャグレて学校やめる。
何言ってるんだ
Aren't you really going for the big guns in order to keep him around? And I cannot say I blame her. You fight for him, girl!
警察屋さんで意地悪されちゃう。
安心しろお嬢ちゃん。犬たちは丁重に扱う。
Not only was that a very smooth piece of animation goodness, but the notion of her caring for the other dogs and then that kind smile and reassurance just made me very happy.
辛い目にあって生きてきた。だからお嬢ちゃんもちゃんとこの子に優しくしてしっかり面倒を見るんだぞ。
There's something about this woman as a character that's very grounded in realism. Made me tear up a little at the mention of the dogs' prior difficult lives. Very sad.
人の苦労も知らんで
いやわかるよ。私にもあれくらいの娘がいた。
Well, if the last one had me tearing up, that comment about her daughter tipped me over the edge. Clearly lost her during perhaps one of the conflicts of the past, and that's why she's so cold and against war as seen earlier on. That moved me so much that even for being such a short scene, I think that gets 2 wins.
こんばんは。
犬さん、今日してるのか？おやつ食うか？遠慮するな。お前もホージャー家の家族。
Avoiding showing it, but the things people were doing to him shown from the past just made me feel sick to my stomach. Hard to watch that without tearing up. They got me 3 times in like 5 minutes. Take another one here for just now showing him overwhelmed to be among a loving family. Hard to describe, but even though they didn't change his face, you could see it on him.
ほら時間ですよアーニャさん。
星がダメならやっぱり。アーニャ何度でも世界救ってみせる。
なんか用かよ。
アーニャんち犬いる。
だからどうした？
I swear, she just always seems to have the most hilarious faces on her.
名前なんて言うんだ？
This is great, all 3 of them blushing as she turns happy. The power of having a gorgeous pup!
見た目からの印象も大切よ。白子。パパかママに決めてもらった方が良さそうね。
Old man hair related win! I thought they had their work cut out for them when animating one dog all the time, but here there's multiple doggos and they do them all justice.
せい。
This. So dumb.
最後まで面倒を見る覚悟俺が言えたセリフではないな
Truly an unexpectedly poignant moment with Lloyd struggling with the notion of one day having finished his mission and then being forced to hypocritically leave behind the family he had been taking care of all of this time. Wow.
俺が見つけたお宝で
Okay, firstly, I just found that so funny, so that's a win. But secondly, I'm also in love with how they represent dogs in this one. I just enjoyed that little as he turned around with the gloves in his mouth. It's so good. It's so stupid. They found themselves a Winds vein and they're moving in miners to pick at it.
犬さんの名前はボンドにする。
ボンドマンのボンドかま、悪くないな
気に入ったみたいですね。首輪もぴったり。
Normal type of cute.
うんちだった。臭い。
Oh god.
遊び疲れて寝ちゃいました。
今日は勘弁してやるか。
そうしましょう。
Oh, incredibly cute!
とやかく詮索するような間柄ではないので何も聞かんことにしているが。
He gets another shout out for his voice acting chops. Loved him in My Love Story, aka Orimonogatari. I'll never stop yelling how good that anime is from the rooftops, and he has such a wide range too.
これに失敗したら私はお二人を失ってしまうかもしれない。
Credit for this, as I really thought there was a joke coming right around the corner, and instead it was treated fairly seriously instead.
それトマト？潰れちゃってんじゃん。何してんの先輩？料理を習いたい？そうなんです。先日私が作った朝食のせいで主人が一日中トイレに。
Even more credit to them for two reasons. Firstly, they did a cracking job of setting this up as a proper serious matter. And secondly, I liked how they tied it into the previous episode with her thinking she caused his fake upset stomach.
ああ、こいつ料理うまいよ。
ちょっと！
いいじゃん、教えてやれよ。よし、じゃあこいつん家に集合な。
ちょっと！
Oh, they're so getting a win for that kind of pair of... Wait, hold up a minute!
というわけで今日もお勉強させていただきます。
Kawaii!
これ何に使うのよ。すみません。いろいろ入れれば美味しくなるかと。
The fact that she bought a cactus for the meal!
じゃあまずポテトの皮剥いてください。どうやったら皮むきでこうなるんですか？血の海だし。だから細かすぎるって言ってるでしょ。普通に切ってよ。ちょっとなんでまな板まで切れてんのよ。
This woman is absolutely destroying the scene with that epic angry voice acting perfection.
お願いしますカミラさん。ロイドさんに離縁されたら私さっさと切った具材火にかけてください。
After her actions during the first half, I won't lie, it made me smile seeing her like this. Even as a side character, it's good that the attention was given to provide her with a little character growth.
すっごく美味しいお姉さん。
吐いてるけど、どっち？
I've watched a lot of anime, and I've seen this kind of scene done a lot of different ways, but by far, this was my favourite ever, and purely for the fact that he's throwing up at the same time as eating it down, that's a new one. Yeah, go ahead and take one for that too. It would be remiss to miss that out.
あれ、向こう岸にいるのは母さん？ストップユーリ君、一旦ストップ。おぼろげだけど、よくシチューみたいなの出てなかった？
I'm very happy that the mangaka decided to delve into her childhood once again. I feel it was kind of a one and done sort of deal in the first half, so good to see that expanded upon.
先輩ってさ、なんか雰囲気変わりましたよね。前はもっとロボットみたいなつまらない顔してましたけど。
美味しいけど何か足りない気もするな。
あの辺の地方だともしかしたらサワークリームを足してるかも。
あっ。
Take a final easy win here for the end to her cooking session. It was very wholesome, provided a fair bit of character building for a couple of characters, and basically just made me smile. It was very slice of life-ish.
今日の夕飯は私が作ります。
Double shock!
あーにゃこれ好き。
なんだかホッとする味ですね。
なんかwholesomeだ! It is totally the sound effects which make this moment as funny as it is. That thump.
趣味は映画鑑賞で一番好きな映画はババ・バーリント。幼少期のあだ名はモッピで。
ストーカー。
Internal set designs are once again handled really nicely in this part 2, with life and nice details being put into the insides of buildings such as here.
ありがとうございます、黄昏様。よっ大統領。
Normally I wouldn't do this, as I already shouted him out for being in My Hero, but his character was so damn epic in the first few episodes of My Hero Season 6, he gets an aftershock win for being here still.
そして各回答に対してのお前のベストの返答を記し、このチャートを全て記憶し、 空気を読みつつ適宜組み込んでいけば確実。
This made me laugh harder than they probably expected it to. The idea that there ends up being like 1,000 replies to one part of the conversation is oddly hilarious to me.
こんなクソ高い酒頼んでねえよ。
あちらのお客様からです。
よう、奇遇だな。俺も飲みたい気分だったんだ。
Lloyd showing that seldom seen softer side to his personality when he knew he'd been turned down for the date he'd planned so hard for.
俺たちみたいな人種は他人にいらん情を抱くなって。
Then nicely tying this entire scene into his own personal issues, that being the eventual leaving behind of his new wife and daughter once the mission ends, as mentioned in a previous win. Oh yeah, baby, proper first look at the city as a whole, gorgeous stuff!
前回までのあらすじ、邪魔がいるにかっこいい名前つけられたら神戸にうちへ招待してやる。アーニャの戦いはこれからも続く。ご視聴あざざました。
Having Anya do the recap was a stroke of genius, especially since she rather hilariously gets the details from their last conversation wrong. Art style change!
お題は動物だと言ったろ。
人も所詮は動物です。
真理。
This is great because I honestly thought the same thing right away, that they're both animals after all. As funny as this moment was with the attempt at relaying the cuteness of Bond and failing, I was more impressed by the level of animation going on around them. Pretty awesome.
ことかなんていいやつ。ありがとう。アーニャさんが半分作ってくれたんだ。
The visual representation of the boy though.
メスのグリフォンに改造した。
なんでつがいにする必要が。
愛があれば空が飛べるらしい。
A very sweet ending to this scene, further progressing her attempts to get Lloyd an invitation to his father's house, and at the same time, it's just very wholesome really, using this callback to the start of the episode.
あの工作が金賞を取った。
Wow! Colour me shocked and surprised, whatever colour that would be.
あんなみっともねえ作品、親に見せるわけねえだろ。
The anime does a great job of mixing and changing these reactions we love from her almost all of the time. That way, it really does help it stay fresh rather than become overused. Some oddly really impressive looking animation on that walk-in, I must say. Initially, this ending with him as a kid tasting his sister's food and bathing again at the same time wasn't going to get a win. That was until this brilliant bit after he said she'll easily find a husband later on.
ああ、天体観測でもするのか？
やっぱり。
そういや半月後はテストだろ。
Mr. Doggo just casually doing what Mr. Doggos often do best.
月に1回お月様が亡くなっちゃう日には、アーニャ、心読む力もなくなっちゃうのだ。
I'm genuinely impressed that this thought was given to her abilities, rather than it simply being, oh, she can read minds, enough said forever.
そうだ、ボンド、テスト問題予知してアーニャに見せろ。ハンバーグ。今日の晩ご飯、父の作るハンバーグ。まんま。すやー。テストどうしよ、ぐっすり寝た。
This is another one just like the old man's comment about Lloyd not being an animal, when he is one that made me laugh because I again correctly guessed that this was going to happen as soon as she got so happy about dinner.
なんでいるんだロイド王者。休日も働け。
Go to work on your day off too. I love that as a comment. Also take a win here for skipping the OP. They rarely do that, so clearly they wanted to give us some extra juicy extra content.
ベラルスカランになって偉い人になって母に美味しいもの食べさせたいと思ってるます。
Anya playing him and the game beautifully well, and that turnaround was so sudden too.
お前も立派な人間になりたかったら勉強という名の筋トレを欠かすな。
チワワ力。
違う。
Oh, I'm so glad we finally got a classic Anya misunderstanding. I'd missed them from the first half, as I can't recall there having been one here so far.
どうだこの文法はマスターできたか？
文法って何？
マジで時間の無駄。
Very highly detailed look at the school.
あからさまに怪しいやつ。
これが俺の初任務。見せ
とへ向かっている。まさか同じ目的で。あの無意味。
Kind of shocked just how many frames they poured into this moment.
俺の名は東雲。とある企業を抱えのエリートスパイだ。
Gujo Satoru from Jujutsu Kaisen.
ショーガあバカこの時間そのルートには
The constant rolling in a straight line killed me.
牛肉買って帰っちゃうもんね。
俺がなんだって終わったなら黙って帰れ
This whole scene gets its own win, and purely for him being the absolute worst spy of all time, and yet managing through sheer luck and stupidity to get his mission completed.
しくよろブラザー。ほんじゃ、アディオス。
They so weren't getting another win for this guy until he decided to forward roll out of the safe.
よかったな。赤点はないみたいじゃん。
そうアーニャ一個もトニと取らなかったのだ
They get a win for taking their time with this. I was really hoping it wouldn't be that she ranked number 1 all of a sudden because she studied in her room one time, but instead it's sticking to the plot and her as a character, and most importantly, she didn't fail, which is great.
先生、ちょっと来てください。おい、やめろ。
Firstly, I have a win for starting off the episode with what can only really be described as a fairly shocking degree of unique angles and animation. But secondly, also take one for finding a way by which Anna can become more involved in the story of getting Lloyd around the father's house for his mission, by placing obstacles in the way outside of simply trying to not get expelled, and to get the awards and so on. Now she also has to deal with this stuff.
次男はそんなことしないアーニャ見てたその子勝手に転んだだけ
Also, what I think is praiseworthy is that others may have felt the need to drag this side of the story out more and more, and it becomes an almost episodic attempt to complete the mission, whereas here, in this second part, things are moving forwards fairly fast between them now. What the heck is it about this kid that requires so much extra animation?
君が赤点を取ったり退学になったりすれば字が混乱して父さんもうやむやになるかもって思ったんだ
At least this now makes perfect sense within the confines of the story at large. For a while I was worried it was merely an episode-only subject, but time and again Spy Family reassures me that episodic is not its style by stringing together all of these events in a very cohesive way. The weather just doing its thing normally, rather than only kicking in when someone strikes a fancy pose or whatever.
学食の最高級キャビア丼結局一度も頼んだことなかったこのまま食べずに退学になったら後悔が残って優しいなこんなによくしてもらったのは初めてだ
Going first person like it's no big deal. Rotate and shot like it's also not a big deal.
最高の思い出をありがとう
学校辞めても俺たちのこと忘れんなよ
タミヤ君みんな
Finally, a very unexpectedly wholesome moment there between them all.
経営危機だった我が社をデズモンドグループが救ってくれたのだこの上ない好条件に感謝しきれんぐらいだ明日からも普通に通え宿題やったのか
Oh God, that's a work of art putting it together like that. He had such a beautiful farewell and yet nothing has actually changed in his life. That's pure gold.
もらったものちゃんと返しなさいよね
ジュース代も返せよな
アーニャさん失礼しますね
Well, that's an insanely adorable thing I've never seen anyone do before.
アーニャフォージャー忘れ物により退学にしろ
How Yor hilariously sees Anya's life turning out because she may have forgot something. That! This animation goodness! Spider Yor! Believe it or not, I legit wrote my win prior to this happening. A clever alternate way of doing these intros.
最初は弟を養うために始めた仕事ですが
She's pretty sick in her assassin gear, not gonna lie. It's a strange win, I'll grant you, but I appreciated all the same the fact that their strides were different considering the height difference.
アーニャ父の仕事調べようと思う。
You two can be funny and not ha-ha funny, so let's give a win for the whole you're doing her job scene with Anya and leave it at that with this on screen.
ただいま。
父、カクカクシカジカ。
了解した。
I feel like I'm missing something, but still found it utterly hilarious in spite of that fact.
みんなに慕われてる。
そういえば神経科の友達が今度の会合ぜひフォージャー先生もって言ってましたよ。
I have no clue if they transferred from hand-drawn to CGI for this zoom-out shot, but if not, that's incredibly detailed given the distance. I'll tell you one that nailed this recently was Aruma Season 3. They do zoomed-out shots that are absolutely insanely detailed. I've covered that by the by.
目立ちすぎぬ程度に人当たりよく。
あの人が。
お前、さっきからよくわからんタイミングでメモってるな。
Credit to them for touching on this from Lloyd's perspective not just once, but now twice already, since it does make sense where he's standing. If that is a photo of the hospital from a distance, then that is a crazy good attention to detail.
抜かりなく先ほどのお子さんがアーニャ・フォージャー。
Ochako-chan from My Hero Academia.
アーニャ大ピンチ。
Without a shadow of a doubt, the single best facial expression in all of this anime's history.
お前の心は
Too many good moments I'd have to string together that may have gotten me in trouble, so instead I'll round the whole thing up like this, but definitely worthy of a win for the comedy on display.
あとたまに患者さんを殴ったりするそうです。
ロイド・フォージャー。
That facial expression is up there too.
あら、何これ。
なんだこれ。ロイドの伝言か。
お、もうアーニャちゃんのケチ。そういうのいいから答え教えてよ。暗号だ。解いてみろ。
なんで俺が解かなきゃいけねえんだよ。
You gotta admit, it's the sheer height of cuteness that she's so adorably running around and trying to get people to figure out her own little code spy.
よろしく頼んだぞ。
了解です。
Man, it's weird sometimes how much animation is pumped into certain scenes.
フォージャー夫人がリタイアされた場合は仕方ないですよね。
コードネームトバリ。女には野望があった。
Dangerous but still very much kawaii.
わあ、綺麗な方ですね。
玉ねぎが安かったので。
It's quite interesting how they do scenes like this where they find a way of communicating without actually outright doing so. It's quite clever.
顔も怖い。
黄昏先輩、好き。
Two wins. Firstly, I'm surprised they put the animation into this moment. Pleasantly surprised, mind you. Secondly, this reveal and her reaction to it was spot on. Oh yes, absolutely this. Needless to say, I didn't quite expect that was coming. Now that was an awesomely complicated shot that probably took someone ages to put together.
先輩はブラック派よ。ミルクを入れてるところなんて一度たりとも見たことがない。ミルクを入れる人物を完璧に演じているのだわ。この家の雰囲気に合わせているのね。さすが先輩、好き。
I love how she covers for this by making up that he's somehow playing a role where he likes milk in his coffee. Just reminds me of Komi can't communicate and everyone creating stories in their heads that justifies her actions.
おいボンド、絶対舐めるなよ。お前には毒だからな。
Including this very important and real statement in the anime.
ここは拭いてくれる母世界一好き。アーニャさん。仲良しの父と母がいて、ボンドもいて。
ロイドさん、私頑張ります。
How very confused Lloyd is by all of this happening around him.
夜は十分頑張ってるよ。だからアーニャもこうして懐いてる。それ以上に 助けてもらえることなんてないよ。
This to me felt very genuine between them both. I don't think Yor was fighting for her position to remain in a family where she can still do her line of work, and I don't think Lloyd was trying to keep them together purely for this reason either. I think all of them are starting to enjoy what they have and don't want to see it disappear. Really nice looking weather effects.
これは噛み傷や引っかき傷だな。
Bond hilariously doing what most dogs do when they're feeling guilty about something.
私が縫って直してあげます。あれ、なぜか首がもげてしまいました。
もっと死んだ。
He's even deader.
アーニャも嫌いって言ってごめんなさい。
当然これくらい簡単だといいんだがな。
I have no clue why they decided to do such a long ending here, but I'm glad they did. It was very sweet and wholesome, and I'm very happy that they made up.
夜フォージャー、あの女から妻の座を奪わなくては。
See, just as I mentioned before, I'm glad that these events all tie in together and aren't just brought up once and then pretty much forgotten about, other than maybe for laughs down the road. Instead, it's right here at the start of the next episode again.
そこに綴られているのは、東による人体実験の記録とも、西による捕虜虐殺の真実とも言われるが。
Genuinely interesting pieces of lore being dropped here, just showing that if the anime ever felt like leaning into it and showing us past events, it'd actually be interesting. Also take another here, as I always appreciate the depth they go into when it comes to his missions. It'd be the height of ease for them to write, you gotta go to his house and steal the painting, but instead it's whose house it is, who it used to belong to, why they need it, what links to it, and why it'll be difficult, and more info. Sports like tennis are always difficult to do in anime. It's why I enjoyed how well done it was in Death Note. So credit to them for choosing to actually animate this instead of using still frames. Oh yes, Lloyd totally gets his own win for this moment. I truly didn't expect this at all. Of course the animation is great, but I was just in stitches at how wide open her eyes were taking this game deadly seriously.
お仕事仲間とテニス大会ってことは、もしかしたらあの方もロイドさんとはどういったご関係なのかしら。
See, now this is, as I said before, like her true feelings on Lloyd, and I like that. It's less about the mission and her brother, although she does mention that afterwards, and more about her real feelings.
ゲームセットボンバイトニーペア
I wished they'd have shown more here, but credit for the constant plot twists. I keep on thinking there'll be more to the next one, then there isn't. They are shocking me with that, to be fair to them.
大した実力ではありません。秒で終わらせてやります。そして人生のダブルスを申請してもらうのです。
She's so talented at changing the tone of her voice so well. To go from mature and dark and spyish to playful and girly like that is excellent. Hard to believe that's her from My Hero. Gabby from Attack on Titan too, I think.
トニーサービストゥプレイ
These rather unique looking tennis rackets. That's absolutely nuts! So was that though? They can absolutely have a max 2 wins here. For everything that they didn't show from previous matches, they showed everything that they needed to and more for this final and most important match, and it looked fantastic.
What?
「
Oh yes, kickstarting the episode with lots of juicy animation right away. Also credit as always for skipping that OP for even more juicy goodness.
Tori!
Lloyd highly deserving of a win for putting his colleague first, shows what kind of a man he is. Oh dear lord, this was the single most JoJo thing I've ever seen outside of actual JoJo. You know full well that they clearly poured a massive amount of time into this sequence right here, smooth as anything, and at the same time they zoomed through the scene itself whilst animating everyone moving throughout it. Highly deserving of 2 max wins. That's amazing that even whilst dodging and moving around pitfalls and everything else going on, they find a moment to reflect one of the rubber bullets to hit them instead. They won the game, and the way in which it was done was utterly sick. That was fantastic.
では案内しよ
荷物はそこに置いといても。
もちろん。
Might not seem like a big deal, but I think it's win-worthy how often they put high animation into seemingly small moments like this.
何はともあれミッションコンプリートだ
This nice ending to their mission. Very nice!
私、身の程知らずでした。妻のダワヘアナさんに譲ります。
オッケー。僕は常々テニスの強い子と結婚したかったんだ。
マジっすか？私強いっすよ。
The super casual attitude of everyone inside of Anya's made up future scenarios. They got me again. They're really good when it comes to tricking you, boy.
力を込めすぎると、なぜかガットに沿ってボールが避けてしまうんですよね。
待て、なんだ今の現象は。ボールが避け。
They got me twice! They got me twice in under 20 seconds! I thought she missed, but she destroyed the ball. Take that win!
ただの1ミリも揺るがぬ軌道。死ぬ！なんて重たい打球。私と変われ！負けた。完全に。
Easiest 2 max wins of the entire second part to date. Outstanding animation on display and a whole bunch of humour throughout as well, but especially the effects. They were totally top notch. I also won't lie, it's good to see Yor win this match too.
私、勝ちました。
はい、おめでとうございます。
私の勝ちです。
ヨルさんの勝ちです。
Definitely feels like all of these little moments are slowly building a real budding relationship between them.
8月21日、今日私は危険なものをこの倉庫へ封印した。若い女優たちのブロマイドだ。
戦争の火種は何もなかった。今回はそれでいいじゃないか。
そうですね。
The rather hilarious reveal of what was actually hidden inside the basement all of this time.
これはそれ、これはこれ、レアものはレアもの。
難儀だな、夫婦円満ってやつは。
Once again refusing to let this simply pass by as an amusing turn of events, but instead having it impact upon Lloyd in at least some small way. End of episode training moment. Somehow the voice actors and the animators working together to honestly make this feel like a proper play session.
どうしましょう、困りました。この関係を終わりにされたら。
Even though she has followed up these moments with statements regarding this being merely a benefit to them both, it's good how her true feelings are clearly on display each time, even if you put aside everything else. At the very least, she wouldn't be visibly depressed if she truly thought it just a marriage of convenience.
喉が締め付けられて言葉が出てきません。この生活を続けたいから。
Have a win for now, just outright saying it really.
そうですか。やっぱ
the grand return of Drunk Yor.
僕はあなたと本物の夫婦。
It's the grand return of a panicked and attacking Yor.
私何よ。
懐かしい。昔よく聞いた子守歌だ。母の腕の中が好きだった。いつ爆弾が降ってくるともしれない夜でも。
Getting a chance to see some of Lloyd's history for a change, which I could be wrong, but I don't think we've seen anything of to date.
あの子が笑顔ではしゃいでいられるのは、夜さんが安全基地になってくれてるから。
It's incredibly sweet and not to mention clever that this part of Yor creates a safe environment for Anya and thus Lloyd. It means her strength isn't just for her work or for comedic gags, but instead as a foundation of their happiness.
なので、これからもアーニャの母役でいてくれたら嬉しいです。帰りましょうか。
そうですね。
Ultra sweet moment alert!
ただいま。
It's equally adorable and realistic that Bond knows when they're home even before they're at the door. My boys learned the sound of my wife's car and react to it when it's coming down the road. It's so cute.
ロイドさん、その顎どうなさったんですか？
嘘。昨日のこと全部忘れて。もう一回同じ話をした。
Giant football-sized props to them for not using this as a method by which to return to the former status quo and instead following it up immediately with they had the same conversation again.
史上初の友達と買い物ワクワク
It's nice to see these two hanging out as friends, building their friendship with some nice music to boot.
ベッキーちゃんがいつもひどいんだ。悪口言ってみんなをいじめるんだ。
物事や他人を知ったつもりになってはいけません。まずはそれをやめることが大人への第一歩ですよ。よかったですね、お嬢様。
It's also nice to see her getting some personal growth, all brought about by her meeting Anya. An absolute metric ton of information is poured all over this scene, which at the very least sets up the coming mission, which is now reaching its conclusion. At the same time, it also serves to do away with plot holes by taking a lengthy amount of time to discuss why all other options wouldn't work.
キモキモストーカーゴリラー。アーニャもう一度あいつを殴ろうと思う。ダメよ、退学になっちゃうわよ。
The way that they did this was beyond perfect. It's like she wasn't even angry, she just wanted to punch him now.
アーニャ赤点のテストでも堂々と見せることにしてる。何の話だっけ？さあ。
I was going to say Anya making a great point in a very roundabout way, but then she ended up being confused in her own point anyway, which made it even better.
改めてご両親の方にも謝罪をしたいのだが。
ダミアン様、あそこお父上たちが。
本当に申し訳ない、ダミアン君。ああ、申し遅れました。私、ロイド・フォージャーと申します。
Ah, this is now feeling as though it's heading into something huge happening and I don't feel ready.
そしていずれ暴き出す、この男の腹の中、戦争計画の全てを。
Really nicely done building the tension up so much, and also nice effects on display here too, but especially it's for bringing things to a head here. It's been building for a while.
結構だ。お気遣い感謝する。
The Dwarf King from that time I got reincarnated as a slime.
血のつながった子であろうが、所詮は他人。他人を真に理解するのは。
だから他国を武力でねじ伏せるのか。それがお前の本質か、デズモンド。
This entire exchange is like a very well thought out chess match with Lloyd trying everything to just stay in the game against all the odds. But simultaneously, it's also serving to build the story and world around it, explaining kind of how evil this man is and what he's trying to do, and how Lloyd is trying to stop him, and how Damien is on the sidelines.
わからないなりに、そのままを受け止めようと、なるべく対話の機会を設けるようにしています。総裁も、そんな風にご多忙の中、わざわざ息子さんに会う時間を作られたのでは？
君は正しいとも言える。
This is like one of the most tense but not tense at all scenes, and it's all because of the internal monologue behind the scenes and the aforementioned chess match that Lloyd is basically playing against himself with big odds.
仲良くしてもらえたら嬉しいな。
別に俺も。
Nice! Things actually went well. I feel like I can breathe a little, and it's really sweet that Damien reacted in this positive way too. Things be really moving forwards, boys and gals.
あとグリフォンの工作が金賞取ったんだ。
そうか、よくやった。ダミアン、デズモンドの名に恥じぬよう引き続き励め。
はい。
Even though his father is like the most unemotional father of all time, it was good to see Damien at least get this much, and yeah, it was just a very sweet moment for him, even getting that little from him. Final beautiful image of the city at night. Thanks so much for watching this second part. If you enjoyed it, please consider joining up on my Patreon and voting in more anime for me to cover. Massive thanks to all of my patrons who support me, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe if you're not already so as not to miss out on everything coming soon, and more Spy Family no doubt in the future too. Chris Harris, Lifty, Corey Bosch, Hinakami and Water, Manuel Morales, Marquez, Nick Wyndham, Warkeeper, Steelers, The Epic Commander, Adelisk, Bird Without a Word, Blitzcloud, Brandon Kriya, Deliverance, Emmanuel Gonzalez, Game 2000, Jessica Start, Kepan, Comfroy, Magnus, Nathan Burr, Red Moon, Sean, Sebastian Ramirez, Wesley Tabak, Wiccan Faye, Andy 50, Clear Lonely Jellyfish, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Guru, Israel Caldera, You Are Edvinson, Jonah Starr, Jordan Samuels, Jaffa6263, Kieran Robinson, Kelnock, Kevin Melter, Conito, Laxus, Luis Cruz, Matthew Blanchett, 1928, Oliver Smiley Reacts, Saint Flo 25, Sentimento, Storm 970, The Element Taylor Wars.